We are so proud to have so many elected officials here, so many young Dems, so many Democratic leaders. But now there's somebody that I want to introduce that I still believe should be serving the people of Nassau County. Former county executive, Tom Suozzi.
Thank you, Lauren. Let's hear it again for your president, doing a great job, Madam President. All the young Dems, let's give them all a big round of applause. The Hofstra Dems that are here tonight, let's hear it for the Hofstra Dems. Kyle Strover for being so smart, let's give Kyle Strover. Let's hear it for Mickey Solage again. Great victory by a young Democrat. Bob McDonald, the vice chairman of the party. Not the young Democrat. I'm very happy to be here tonight, and thank you for inviting me. And this is a great turnout. This is a wonderful event. And I really want you to know how important what you're doing is. Everything John said. Let's hear for John Kamen again. He's a great executive. One of those guys who really combines his love of politics, his knowledge of politics, with real ability to be a great administrator and implement programs. Steve Ballone is very much that way also. They're real, wonky type people who take passion and love for politics and then figure out how to be an administrator to actually deliver on those things. So let's give John Kamen another big thank you for this. And we did used to have, other people in our group in those days included Joe Galante, who's now the Deputy Controller of New York State. Kathy Kleber, who else was involved back in those days, John? Ken Schwitz, who passed away. Who else? Yes, you weren't there then. No, you were. That was 1989 and 90. Yes, you were there.
Yes, I was there.
Anyway, so I'll be very brief. I want to follow up on a little bit about what John talked about. If you want to change things, you heard some remarks like that. I said this the other night at Valley Street. If you want to change things, if you want to change something, it's not enough to just want to change things. You need 3 ingredients to actually change things. The first thing you need to do is know what the answer is. I want to change it from this to that. But in today's world, that's often a very complex thing. It's not an easy little answer. It's not as simple as some people will say, I want to reduce taxes. It's not as simple as just a little soundbite. Figuring out the answer to solve problems is often a very complex effort that requires thousands of hours of research by smart, well-educated people on that topic, often a lot of money and time to figure out what the answer is. Look at the president wanted to change health care in America. People have been debating it for 40 years, longer than that, 60 years in our country. And when he tried to change it, people attacked him for doing it. But it took a lot of time and effort to figure out what's the answer to change things. So that's the first thing you need. I don't care what the problem is, whether it's Nassau County property taxes, or it's problems in the New York State budget, or it's the fiscal cliff, or health care, or Medicaid, or Medicare, or Social Security. Whatever the issue is, you need to know what the answer is. The Republicans have done a very good job of this nationally by having a bunch of think tanks that they fund to hire a bunch of smart people who often come up with ideas that we totally disagree with, but they're very well thought out and well researched and documented by their different organizations. So first you need to know what the answer is and have a reasonable, logical, intelligent basis for what your answer is. The second thing you need are the guts to stand up to the status quo. Because the people say, well, why doesn't it just change? There's no such thing as why don't you just. The reason things don't change is often because someone's benefiting from the status quo. People want to keep it the way it is now because they're benefiting from it. So they will fight to keep it the way it is now. When the president says he wants to change health care, what happens? They say he's a socialist, we're going to bury this guy, and people fund campaigns against him. That goes with any complex issue. So you have to have the guts that you're willing to stand up and fight against the system the way it is. You have to have an answer, number one, and number two, you have to be willing to put it all on the line and sacrifice and fight against the people that are going to fight back to stop you from trying to change it. The third thing you need to have is you need to have the ability to actually win the fight. You have to have the ability to persuade people. You have to understand the public relations aspect. You have to understand the press aspect. You have to understand the political aspect. And you have to build the organization that will help you to win that fight. John and I and other elected officials, we've been through a lot of these fights. Okay? I remember I ran for governor of New York State against Eliot Spitzer. I had a lot of great ideas. I had guts like you wouldn't believe. I had no ability whatsoever to win that race. I got crushed. I didn't know what I was running into, a buzzsaw. Everybody else seemed to know, but I didn't listen to anybody. But you can't have success in change without having all three of those ingredients. By being here tonight, you're saying that you have or want to have those three ingredients. One of the most important parts is that third part. Building an organization, a team of people that are going to do the hard work that's necessary to persuade, to cajole, to use politics, to use public relations, to carry things over the finish line. John was talking about, a lot of people have ideas. They say, oh, you know, they read the paper this day. I believe this. That's not enough. You've got to put all three of these elements together. So the Young Democrats are so important. This organization has been around forever. But sometimes it's a nothing organization and nothing's happening. And it's four guys who go to get drunk at LI Law. Or other times, it's a room full of 50 or 60 or 70 people that elected officials show up because they want to be part of it, because they recognize that you're an organized group that's going to be effective in helping them be effective. And they respect your ability and your talents because you're organizing, because you're putting something together. You've got a movement going. So the challenge is now, it's not just the Young Democrats. It's the Young Democrats and the Hofstra Democrats being the same organization. And then to get the Adelphi Democrats, and get the CW Post Democrats, and get the other Democrats in school to be part of this. And then the people who graduated already. I keep on making this point all the time, you know, we think that you know, to build the political organization, you know, you got to make sure you take care of everybody with a job or this or that. Who are all these people that went to college and studied political science? Where are they now? Because they wouldn't have studied political science unless they were interested in politics. We need to find out who those people are and get them involved in the Young Democrats. Get them involved in organizing to try and affect change in their communities. So I thank all of you for the work that you've done already in helping the president to get reelected, in helping to elect our Democratic officials here in the state. And I thank you for being here tonight and to continuing the great cause of trying to pursue democratic ideas. What's the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans? We generally believe that government has a role in trying to make the world a better place to live in. It's not as simple as leaving it up. We believe in the free market. We believe in capitalism. We believe in democracy. The problem is that with capitalism and democracy, there's sometimes in a system based upon competition, some people don't compete well. And they're not going to make it in the system alone by doing that. Sometimes in a competitive society based on freedom and democracy, you can make more money if you don't put a filter on the top of your smokestack. You can make more money if your movie has a lot of sex and violence in it. You can make more money if you don't protect your workers' rights. You can make more money if you don't give people health insurance. That's part of what happens in a competitive society. You can be very successful. We believe that as Democrats, government's got a role in protecting those people that aren't going to do well just based upon competition alone. We've got to make sure that as Democrats, we're effective at protecting those people that aren't making it as part of the competitive society alone, while at the same time not destroying capitalism and freedom and democracy at the same time. It's a tough, challenging balance. But with young Democrats who've got ideas, young Democrats who've got guts, and young Democrats who have ability to organize and are willing to do the work, we can go out and change the whole world. And I'm counting on all of you to do it. Thank you very much.